cost is to do the project, beyond the $12,000.
Okay. On page 2, where it talks about ensuring public safety in a variety of emergencies, and then mentions recent hurricanes which have affected us, and then several things that needed to be done, such as emergency food and water delivery, aerial reconnaissance, route clearance. I would like to know if they were in any way impeded in not being able to carry out these missions for whatever reason.
I don't believe so. I believe when I contacted the National Guard to find out what they provided during those events, they responded with they having provided these services. So I think the benefit is that, being that they're in our backyard, we're getting roads cleared immediately, so they can operate as need be and provide emergency food and water and that assistance.
And I can tell you that as the director of the emergency management operations during the storms, the military based out of these camps were more than willing to help in any particular way that they possibly could, and they did a great job delivering all of those services: heavy equipment, chainsaws, food, water, damage assessment, and they did support the CLMP line crews in their place. So, I think this is just an opportunity for us to, to get a plan going for the property around there, and it does say in here that the infrastructure upgrades are planned for a future fiscal year for Stones Ranch Military in about $3.5 million. So I think they're trying to plan ahead on what those implications would be. I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's fine.
I got carried
No,
away there.
that's fine. I'm set.
No further questions? Okay. Anyone else?
I'd just like to thank Gary, because some, the questions we had last time, I think, or that I had, were answered here. And one of the things I like about this, if we move forward with it, is as things progress in the future and they want to make some changes, it does seem to give us an ability to have some feedback. One of the things, like, for instance, the siting council we don't have, is Mr. Peterson and John pointed out. This gives us a chance now to make our feelings known in advance of any changes that might, and it says right here, that might adversely affect public health, safety, and welfare. So it gives us the opportunity. May not mean we win or we get everything we're looking for, but it does give us the ability to make our feelings known to the National Guard, and we're included, or at least sitting at the table when these decisions are being considered. Thank you.
Any other discussion on this item?
I just, Gary, on that page 2, middle of that need to conduct the Julius thing there, Hurricane Sandy, that include correcting some septic and stormwater issues as well as replacing a block seawall?
Yes.
Okay, that's it.
Those are
Camp Niantic?
That was at Camp Niantic.
All right, but they're on sewer.
Yeah.
So how would that work?
That I don't know. I don't know where that septic is being repaired. I was just advised by them that was what that 1.27 million was covering.
Amazing.
Thank you for the report.
You're welcome.
So most of this is all about Stones Ranch.
Primarily, it was Stones Ranch that got the town nominated to apply for the grant.
And that's how Lyme and Old Lyme got involved in.
That's correct.
Right,
And,
because obviously it's
and we had
contiguous to that.
Correct, and we had requested that they include Camp Niantic in the planning grant, so they were willing to accommodate us and do that.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate so by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Are you taking off?
I can stay?
No, I just want to make it known that a lot of the conversations that we heard at delegations should be answered by the Inland Wetlands Commission. All those, they're the overriding authority, and I just wanted to ask you to make sure that we get a report tomorrow on the upgrade of that so that we can send out all that information to these folks.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Next item is the health and safety appointments. These appointments expired in September, so I'm sorry I'm without a secretary this week, so I'm just going to read them off, and then Karen will provide the names and the minutes for the next time, if that's okay with everybody. I'll start with Karen Galbo, Anna Hartung, Ed Ball, Tanya Ranelli, Matt DeVore, Julie Wilson. On the management side, Victor Bene, Joe Bergaw, Rick Pape, Chris Taylor, Lisa Timothy, and Mike McDowell. And the process that we got to that, we sent out notice to all the people whether they want to be interested in serving again, and also to the department heads to see if there's any disruption to their department, and we use that feedback to establish that. So, you know,
You're gonna have to have a list of names.
do you remember how long is it? 2 years?
You're gonna have to
1
have a
year?
list of names
Okay,
to make
so we need a
motion.
motion to. What?
Can I make a motion of those appointments as submitted?
Yes. For, to expire, say, October 1st, 2000. Yeah, I could run in there and get the date if you want. I just figured October 1st, because I know there was like September 24th, I think is what it was, but, so we say October 1st.
October 1st.
I mean, it's a committee, so. So there's a motion made as submitted,
Second?
seconded,
What
discussion,
was the end date?
October 1st,
First.
2015.
2015. 1 year.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Communications ex officio reports?
I attended for Mark last week, or almost 2 weeks ago, the Parks and Rec meeting. They basically talked about update on the boardwalk, which, Paul, you had covered at our meeting. And they talked about possibility of looking into next year for the beaches and so forth, looking at possibly ways to make it easier for people to pay down at Cheney Park and so forth like that when they come in on weekends. And there was discussion, why not do it every day? So that was the topic of discussion. It was a rather short meeting. Dave just kind of capped up the summer, which was quite successful, as we all know. And secondly, as Gary just left, but I attended Inland Wetlands a week ago. Mr. Peterson and Mr. Bylands were there.
Gary's still here.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gary, you were behind.
For the record, just
Okay, Tracy.
who's going to get
Um, You know, one of the big topics was the solar farm, and they did say they wanted to keep the cease and desist order in effect until the fall, until the springtime came around at a minimum, to check on remediation. And there was an acknowledgement that there was still some work that needs to be done up there. It's still, you know, Inland Wetlands is still looking very closely into that. And I appreciated Mr. Bylands and Mr. Peterson coming to voice their concerns tonight as well. Thank you.
I do not have any attended ex officios, but coming up next Tuesday for the Planning Commission, which I will not be able to attend, so maybe someone could fill in for me. But they will be reviewing a proposed zoning text amendment, which would reduce the proximity of businesses that sell alcohol. It would reduce what is currently required, a 200-foot radius for any such distribution of alcoholic beverages which are located next to places of worship. So the text amendment proposes reducing the radius from 200 feet to 100 feet. There is no particular application on the table related to that change, so it's simply a request for the text change. Also, we had struck from our agenda tonight the approval for Darrow's Court, Darrow's Ridge Road, and the realigned portion of Mostaway Road, and the discontinuation of a portion of Mostaway Road, and that is on their agenda for an 824 approval. That's all I have.
Good.
I attended the zoning meeting of October 2nd. There was an application for a special permit for mixed use at 159 Main Street, which is in effect the relocation for Mermaid Liquors. There's going to be an apartment, and that was presented and was approved, and that was basically what happened.
I gleefully attended the Board of Ed last night. They had a fairly short meeting. They are reviewing a new set of bylaws for their commission members, their board members. Additionally, there's a short review of the, I believe they were the science capped scores were reviewed. And just to simplify, the average test score in Connecticut was in the mid-40s. East Lyme High School scored 70s or 70. We're number one in our DERG, which is schools that are like us, of our size and our income and all that. So we scored very, very well in the CAP scores. And that's about all that happened last night.
Okay. I will get the answers as requested this evening by those folks. You heard me ask Gary to do that. I did share Mr. Berry's concern when I was down there. One of those panels got stuck in a rock, and I thought I understand that process has now been rectified, and they're doing about 12 panels a day, and they're moving down there, and they've kind of steadied the process. We'll get further update on that once I go down and check on that tomorrow. The last meeting, you authorized me to sign a potential contract from Bay State Consultants regarding a change in the electric bid prices. We had that bid today. Our current price of 9.69 cents goes through December of 2015. The bid that we had today will run from March of 2016 to December of 2017, and we got a price of 8.87. So we had a reduction in that price. Now you'll note that the January, February, and March 30th. January and February in 16 was not included in the contract because we were able to reduce the price by half a penny by taking those out. So we felt that there was some latitude paying market price there for those 2 months based on the consultant's advice and based on some math that we did. We feel that, and the consultant feels that the price of electricity be in the 12-13 cent range in that price. So even if we were to pay 14 cents, we would still be ahead of the game for those 2 months. We would lose if the price went up to beyond 17 cents. So we took that chance and authorized that contract. This represents about $290,000 that the town spends between the town and the water and sewer department in the course of the year. Just as a reminder, we did get $1.5 million in lawsuit settlement for a lot of the problems on the boardwalk. There is an inspector on site there. He is paid for by the architect. That is their responsibility. And we do have town personnel monitoring that item. So the Darrows Ridge situation, we were going to put that on there tonight to schedule a town meeting to discontinue the road as per state statute. But the charter allows for us to do that, so we pulled that off, and that'll be on the next agenda. As you know, the developer forfeited his bond and the subdivision expired, and so we're using that bond funds of approximately $82,000 to repave the final pavement coat on Darrows Ridge Road, Darrows Court, and then as part of a lawsuit with the developer, the town is finishing the down portion of that realignment of Mostaway Road, which was talked about at this board level prior to any of my terms, and we're finally getting that done. So we have the binder coat on there, and then either tomorrow or the next few days, that other pavement will be completed, and we will open up that 90-degree turn onto Mostaway Road, We're actually going to grind up Mostaway Road and repave that. We're doing some drainage work on that now because that's in such disrepair, so that'll be all part of the project. And then the subdivision will be complete. There's a couple of punch lists that items that we'll have to do, but nothing of significance. The main part was that pavement. Then we'll take the old portion of Mostaway Road, move a driveway into those two houses that has been designed as part of the project, and then rip up the rest of that pavement and plant something there so that people won't be going up and down that way. It'll be a 90-degree turn. It will allow us for school bus access and make our support vehicles such as the trash and recycling trucks easier to maneuver up there. We did pave over the cul-de-sac circles there for snow plowing and garbage pickup. So that's what's going on up there now, and that should be completed within a week. And I believe that's my report for now. Anything else? No? That brings us to public discussion. Anybody like to speak to the board under public discussion? Mr. Bialowitz?
I would like to know if I could ask town council about the injunction on the solar farm.
I don't know,
Can't.
I mean, you certainly can. I don't know that you can do it within the confines of this meeting. 'Cause
No,
not
it's just
on
that the
agenda.
idea is that, we were promised September 30th that the injunction was going to go on if the place wasn't shaped up yet. And it seems like it's just been pushed aside.
Promise the inland wetlands people promise you that?
Well, various people.
I don't
That-
know. I don't know who promised. It's not
But
really
I'm
our
not,
jurisdiction.
but it's just that the idea is that cease and desist really is really nothing. They could do whatever they want and everything else. If you put an injunction on it, when I talked to the siding council, Mrs. Bachman, Melanie, she was disgusted with that place too. And, and she gave them a deadline of the 17th of October to have a plan how to repair our damage and Joan Benson's damage and everything. But, it's just that the idea is that if you put an injunction on it, that means that you're really going after them and they gotta fix everything before they can, operate. I don't know why I was so nervous before, but it's just that the idea is that that's just been bugging me really a lot about why the injunction was not put on.
Well, I can tell you that after the 17th, I've been in contact with the siting council. This is their project. They have the overview of this project.
Yes.
We manage the wetlands and water courses off
Right.
the project. And the inland wetlands, and Gary, I know, have been working on that, but I will certainly follow up on that, let you know who suggested an injunction, who is
I don't know,
able to
I
create
thought it
an
was in some
injunction,
meeting
and
or
what we can
something. It's
do
just that
about
the
it. if
idea is
possible.
that it's just Landino's getting away with murder up there. That's what it's putting down to. And it's just that the idea is that I try to talk with him and his center plan, Ryan, for 2 months. They said they were gonna, get a hold with me. The last inland wetlands meeting, Ted Harris said that we're gonna contact you. That has not happened. And it's just that the idea is that what they expect me to go after them and say, well, let's just do it. I want it fixed because it was never like that for 100 years since my grandparents owned it. And now it's a mess. And it's gonna take somebody a long time to fix it, And then when we did that walk on Columbus Day, their soil scientists that Landino hired said that they went in there with bobcats and everything else. There was no signs of that at all. And then he put plantings. He said he did double the amount or triple the amount of plantings. If there was plantings there, I did not see them. And we took pictures and everything else, and they must have used probably 2 bales of hay, straw to put on this sediment. That whole back pot is just full right of sediment right to the tributary. And it's just gonna keep washing in, you know, and I just would like to get it fixed before I'm dead. You know, that tributary is gonna be, you know, repaired to what it was.
As
You
I
know,
said,
I'm sorry I keep bringing it up and I'm blaming people and this and that, but it's just that the idea is that you can't get a straight answer, and it's just, I don't know, it's just.
I don't know how you can't get a straight answer. You've never asked me a straight question.
Well, I didn't want to
regarding
bother
this,
you
so-
because you're always
so,
busy and,
you know,
and
I'm
poor,
happy.
you know, and
I'm-
I know that.
May I?
Yeah, go ahead.
I've been in contact with the siting council and with Ms. Bachman with
Yeah.
regard to the failures of that system up there.
Right.
This is a siting council oversight project. The
Mhm.
town only can take certain steps when it gets off-site. And I think they've been trying to do that.
No, Gary
Let's-
has,
Yeah, so let's wait till the 17th, let's see what the plan comes back. I will certainly act on behalf of the community, as I've done a number of times already, moving this forward. So let me know what your specific problems
No,
are.
I'm not
so
just
I-
coming right out and saying that it's your fault. It's just that the idea is that it's just so frustrated that, you know, it should be, I would think that it would just be a domino effect, do it this way, that way, and everything, and it's just.
If you help
not
me,
hap-
if you help me understand those details, I will go to the siting council and help decide.
Oh, I'm gonna go to the siting council too, and, you know, and everything else, it's just, well, okay, I'll just be quiet, but.
Oh,
It's just that the idea is that, you know, it's just a shame. I don't know if you wanna go look at it yourself.
I've been up there at least 10 times, driving around up there, and I've been in contact with Mr. Gaishel a number of times after that, expressing my concern, and also the siting council, so.
But I know nobody walked the tributary like we did.
I did not
It
take
did
a
take
machete.
3
no,
hours.
I did not do that. I did go down where the catch basin failed down at the back area there.
Right.
Where they did that and checked some of that and drove around the other perimeter.
No, nobody
so-
was standing around with me because I had a machete, and so they just stayed clear.
Yeah.
But it's just that the idea is that it was, you know.
I don't know about going up there
nobody
with
walked
you and a
down that.
machete, Mr. Bialowicz.
Well, that, you know.
I'm
but
pretty
it's
trusting,
just-
but I'm, you know,
No, I wouldn't be after you.
I'm
anyways.
teasing.
But it's, I know, but it's just that the idea is that it's just makes you sick when you go
Yeah.
up there.
we will work on it and help it get solved.
Okay, so, all right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir, for bringing it to our attention. Mr. Barry?
You briefly touched on maybe one of the issues that I brought up, and that was who was paying the project inspector. And again, we got the fox watching the hen house. The architect is paying the inspector. This is what happened on the first time we did this. The contractor had the engineer in his pocket. You know, and what was he acting in the best interest of the town? Proof is in the pudding. He didn't. You know, it all washed out, and somebody had the foresight and the courage to write in some of the reports that it was collapsing as they were building it, and yet it's still allowed to go on.
Currently?
The first time.
First time.
Now we got a situation, you said it's been corrected. I haven't seen anything corrected. That these windows, what happens when a sheet goes down, you just can't go down there and pick it up now, because guess what? You got a big hole on the bottom down there. And eventually, the seawater is gonna work its way back and forth in there, and you're gonna lose all the support gravel that you got underneath this concrete slab, so to speak. I don't know what's gonna support the slab. If they think just something standing up like that is gonna support the slab, if you walk on the railroad side, you'll see some major cracks in that deck already. And guaranteed, this portion down here is not gonna be supported by the sheets. Somewhere along the line, somebody's gonna have to come along and say, wait a minute, we need additional support for these sheets, and possibly a strong back or a whaler is our answer. And guess what, Mr. Town, you're gonna have to come up with some money because there was an error here. You know, we can't keep going back to these engineers, and like I said, I'm not trying to blow my whistle, but I know what I'm talking about. And mark my words, it's gonna come and haunt us. We're gonna pay again through the nose. And there's no reason for it, because we can correct it right now. It's early enough in this project where somebody can say, hey, what's going on here? You know, what is the, I got challenged by the first selectman on the first project as to what my expertise was. Well, right now I got 45 years with the Carpenters, Pile Drivers International. That was my expertise, but it wasn't good enough because it wasn't deemed by a judge that I was a pro, that I was an expert. But now we got somebody coming in there that probably ran a deli down the street here, that's going down there and monitoring this project that has no idea what's even going on. Like I said, you can say there's somebody down here.
Well, I can assure you that the inspector there has a lot of years of experience. He's a professional engineer. He's hired by the architect, and they are responsible for that. You don't want to have the town inspectors there because we're paying the bill, and it would put the liability on us. We want to have somebody else responsible. So the architect is there, and I'd be happy to share any credentials with him, and I'm not questioning you. I think you know precisely what you're talking about, and I appreciate the opportunity that you're giving the board the benefit of your expertise so that tomorrow I can go down there and find out what's going on, and I'll be a little more knowledgeable to ask questions. So thank you for that.
And I appreciate that response, but if this guy is so knowledgeable and witty as to what his process is, why is he allowing it to happen? It's not happening once, it's happening twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5. I think I counted 6 times that I could see just from the end of from the railroad end.
I'll find
6
out.
windows down there,
I'll find
and I'm
out
sure
tomorrow.
there's more. You know, and if he's so diligent about what he's doing, why is he allowing it to happen? And why are we allowing him to allow this? You know, I'm telling you, and the reason, and I hope this isn't a part that gets missed in these minutes, because this is, last time we didn't have this here. We didn't have anybody that rebutted anything that happened down there until after it happened. And that's when I was able to go downstairs and go through all the paperwork, and I found all the errors, but it was too late. The thing was out to sea. Now, the other question I do have, are these drawings accessible downstairs?
Sure.
All right, I just want to make sure of that, because I will be going down there, and I just want to see how they're going to support this concrete slab.
I might have some in my office. to
Well,
save you a
wherever
trip.
they are, I'll be glad to, if you got coffee, I'll come to your office.
I'll give it to you tonight. You can borrow.
Well, yeah, I just want to see myself,
Yeah.
how they're going to support this thing, and then if I find some real big discrepancies, then I can address them.
I was just told by our town engineer that the initial problem, that they went down, they hit some rock, and I saw the panel stuck in the rock, and he said, but that's been corrected, the process is correct, they're doing 12 panels a day and moving very nicely through there. He didn't mention any of these problems, so you'll give me a good opportunity to go ask some questions
And
tomorrow.
not to be latest thing, but the thing is, I'm not so much concerned about a sheet that gets hung up on a rock as it is the sheet that goes down too far. That's the one I'm worried about.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing is, the one that gets hung up on a rock, how are they getting past it? Because we got a minimum that was supposed to go, a minimum toe
I had to
that's
move.
supposed to be put in there.
I had to move
So
the
they're
rock.
supposed to dig it out and excavate that rock.
Yeah.
Is it happening? I don't know. Like I said, I can't get access to this thing, and the people that have access don't even know what they're doing.
Well, I don't know if that's a fair
Well,
statement, but I'll help you, maybe you can get down there and we'll be more confident.
Well,
as you-
I can bring you, documents that, I've done, show you pictures of what I've done, what a real job looks like, a professional job, versus what's down there, and you make your own opinion.
All right. Happy to share whatever we have with you, sir. Thank you for bringing that forward. Anyone else tonight? Any selectmen respond?